Guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out another a-hole story, and this one seems wild just looking at the title. So, am I the a-hole for divorcing? Wait, by the way, I'm Chi, and we do stories like this. If you like this stuff, subscribe and see you guys in the comments. Am I the a-hole for divorcing my husband and leaving him with the kid after finding out I'm not the biological mom to the kid? I mean, we've seen so many cases of that, but this is not the biological mom. So I can't believe my life has come to this. All I ever do is go out of my way to help others, but on the few occasions I need help, nobody ever comes through for me. I, 36 female, have been with my husband, 35 male, for a total of almost 10 years, married for 7. We had what I thought was my child by surrogate.
Okay.
I'm only imagining stuff, but wait. First, innocent until proven guilty.
Okay.
We had what I thought was my child by surrogate over 2 years ago, because after 4 years of trying to conceive with no success despite medical interventions, it turns out I am unable to carry a child to term. I had always wanted to be a mom. Devastated is an understatement regarding how I felt when I found out I had a medical condition that would make it nearly impossible to carry a baby to term. It was even more upsetting when I had to get a major surgery to remove uterine growths with the hope of increasing fertility chances, and complications during surgery warranted a partial hysterectomy involving removal of my uterus only. So she still has her ovaries, which means the eggs are available. I still had my ovaries, so we started looking into cost of a surrogate. It is really expensive. My close friend since college, who's already had 2 kids of her own, offered to serve as a surrogate for us to cut down on costs. Was her husband excited about that, or did they need the money? But if it's to cut down on costs, it means she probably wanted to do it for free, right? Or for a really, really reasonable amount. But was her husband excited about that?
I don't know. I just got here.
After 2 disappointing IVF sessions that did not result in pregnancy, she became pregnant on the 3rd try and carried a boy to term for us. I was so happy and busy after the birth between being a mom and returning to work after a 4-week parental leave, so I didn't notice any warning signs.
That is not good.
I should have noticed the red flags and warning signs early on, but did not, because I was so exhausted from working so much at my stressful job and 2 part-time jobs to cover most of the bills and anticipated medical and legal costs associated with this friend becoming our surrogate. I was the primary breadwinner. My friend and my husband started talking more, and oh God, I don't want to imagine what happened. So let's see. My friend and my husband started talking more, and I would sometimes come home from my weekend job to find her already hanging out at our house when my husband was there. I chalked it up to innocuous. What's that?
I don't know. I just got here.
I chalked it up to innocuous, and it's good for her to know my husband better since she was in the process of hopefully carrying our child for us. I was grateful to have someone help us have a child. I also thought it weird that our son had brown eyes when both of us have blue. Oh no. Did they not need the IVF? That's what I'm thinking. Did they not need it because you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Then I found out that while this was uncommon, it's possible sometimes due to many genes controlling eye color. Yeah, which makes sense. It's not like a reasonable reason to suspect something crazy like what I'm thinking happened. Recently, all came to a head when I took our son to a doctor's appointment and they did metabolic panel and blood tests, which showed that he had a blood type that is not biologically possible to have with me as his mother. He's B+, I'm A+, my husband is O+. Immediately I started worrying it was the fertility clinic's fault and that they had messed up and implanted a wrong embryo. I started lining up lawyer consultations to possibly sue the clinic and looked into having DNA parentage tests done. The test results showed that I'm not the mother, but my husband still is the father. So now you're thinking, oh my gosh, these people use his sperm and the wrong embryo.
Yes, exactly.
I was heartbroken and angrier than ever. I talked to lawyers about medical malpractice in the fertility clinic with use. Then my husband confessed. Oh my gosh. I'm just imagining that at this point she's like lining up lawyers to like go to court, sue their ass and get, I don't know, someone to pay for the huge mistake that they might have done. But then.
Go ahead, please.
Then my husband confessed that he slept with my friend, our surrogate, on a few different occasions during our struggle to have her get pregnant with our embryos. This means what I thought was our son, conceived by IVF and carried with a surrogate, isn't my son at all and was in fact conceived the old-fashioned way, which I can't ever do. Livid and obviously broken at the same time doesn't even begin to describe how I felt. I have been breaking down into crying spells over and over again about this. He claims he didn't even think pregnancy could, He claims he didn't even think pregnancy could result because he pulled out, and he had always assumed that he was the reason for our earlier struggles to conceive, both before my hysterectomy and during the IVF insemination process with a friend. So in my mind, he has the balls to open his mouth and say, you know what, I was just doing it because I didn't think she's going to get pregnant, which opens the door to, if he was thinking that she wasn't going to get pregnant at all, does that mean he's hot?
Wait, say that again?
Hot. Another affair before, and the person did not get, why was he thinking that he's the reason for it? And he's like, you know what, I didn't think she would get pregnant. Like cheating is just okay, and he's only sorry the baby came out. I felt an immediate triple betrayal from what was supposed to be my husband, my friend, and now knowing my child isn't even really mine. I know the last thing she could get out of it, which is having a baby and finally becoming a mom, she can't even get that. I had such white-hot rage and delirium. I immediately left home and stayed at a hotel for almost a week before asking my parents to let me stay at home for a while. And I left our son with him. Well, it makes all type of logical sense because you're losing it. It's the worst betrayal. There's so many stories of people cheating and then this is not my child, but then you're literally paying for IVF. You literally paid for them to do their stuff and made her believe for 2 years that she was a mom, build a bond with that child when she actually wasn't. And they probably the low-key know. They knew throughout. The low-key must have known.
Absolutely.
I am now filing for divorce because he cheated and betrayed me in the worst possible way. I have also cut off my friendship with my friend, the surrogate, and feel afraid to trust anyone else. I have seen a divorce lawyer to see about giving up my legal rights to these kids so I don't have to face such betrayal or child support. Well, makes absolute sense. It's so sad to have to give up the relationship she has built with a kid. But the thing is, having the child and raising him, even though it seems like the noble thing that people expect you to do, is literally going to be a reminder to her. And is the real mom, now that she knows that she's actually the real mom, is she going to even let that happen? So my husband and friend or surrogate admit they were wrong and keep apologizing, but also call me immature. What? That's rich coming from them. And heartless to just give up on my son like that. My parents also say I can't just give up on a kid that I went through so much legal and medical hopes to have. Actually, she didn't end up having. She did all of that, paid for IVF because she's the main source of income for their family, and she didn't end up having the child. She just paid for them to have an affair and make her responsible financially all possible ways. When I told them I refused to stay in a cheater marriage and I would rather adopt someday with a better, more trustworthy partner, they also told me I was wrong and that maintaining my parental right isn't much different than if I adopted outright. In this case, I literally differ with that, because if she chooses to adopt a child, she has made a conscious decision to bring this child into her life, and she's going to be able to give that baby all the love ever, as opposed to like thinking that this was going to be her son, but then end up having to be the mother to her, well, maybe hopefully ex-husband's affair child. It's always going to literally be in her mind. It's just messed up. It's easier, quite frankly, it's hard at the beginning, but long term it's easier to have a clean break and then start afresh like she's thinking to do. But like, what do you guys think? What would you do in this situation if this was you? They said it isn't blood that makes a family. They are all about me divorcing my cheater husband, but keep telling me I'm making a mistake giving up my parental rights. Some of my other friends agree with what I'm doing. A few admitted they weren't big enough to swallow pride and care for an affair baby, or to see daily reminders of my friend, the surrogate's betrayer every time they look at her son, which makes sense. I just want a clean break and a fresh start. I'm also looking at relocating several states away. Am I the for giving up my parental rights in the divorce? Because a kid I paid a lot of money to have born by surrogacy isn't biologically mine at all, but the surrogates. Well, OP had a lot of questions to answer here, and the first one was, most of the commenters agree that she's not the a-hole and the betrayer is like huge. It's literally the worst type of like, when you see cheaters and think that it never goes wrong, like by far this is, I think, the worst type of betrayer that could ever occur, because you're losing a friend, annoying, you're losing a husband, that's like heartbreak, but you've gone through a whole traumatic emotional process of going through IVF and then coming out with no results. And let's not forget, very expensive process.
Breathe.
Oh my God, thank God.
5 months later, OP has an update, and so I'm just going to summarize a few comments that came up. So the first one was OP explaining in a comment that her partner admits that, oh, he was wrong, but she had put him through the ringer by going through the whole emotional depression of not being able to have kids and always wanting to have kids. So that's why he started cheating. Well, BS, but yeah, that's his explanation to that. And he's telling her that she should, well, in all rights, stay in the kid's life and keep being the parent and, well, sort of stay with him. And she goes on to say she doesn't want to do that, but like, that's his explanation. Also, she tries to get the clinic to be like, hey, I paid for results and this is not the result I was hoping for. And the clinic explains to her that, well, what they paid for was for them to extract the eggs, store it, and for the insemination, because, well, they were not supposed to do the old-fashioned way, but they did it, and most of that was not covered by insurance, which is why the process became very expensive, and the surrogates did not have insurance to cover the insemination. So the clinic says they are not like responsible for the outcome. They are responsible for extracting the egg, storing it, and doing the insemination. And OP says that she still, like, through the conversation she had in the comments, she says that she still has some eggs frozen. And the last update she gets to give is like somewhere in January. She said, I'm low on time right now, but we'll be posting a separate update post much later. I'm not staying and I'm not caring for him anymore. I was not even offered a choice in the matter at all, which is why I've kept telling myself I shouldn't want to compare myself to men in a similar type of parentage situation, and have kept myself aloof toward the boy I thought was mine. I have no legal rights anymore, no matter what, because she fought to get her son back. I'm actually a lot more upset about losing this child than I presented in my post, and I'm realizing more and more with each passing day the choice wasn't mine and I lost. Well, that's horrible to be able to like sit down and accept the fact that she wouldn't even get the child if she wanted to be the bigger person and raise the kid, because she has already had all of this time to like form a bond with him. I posted that I wouldn't want to be the sucker raising someone else's kid as more of a cope than anything. Obviously, she was like going through hell. She got to have her kid. He left me and I'm stuck with nothing. Like, it sucks that she has to be going through this. And the summary of the comment is that she cannot get her money back from the clinic because like they are not responsible for the outcome. They were just there for the process. And even if she wanted to keep the kid, she doesn't have the right to. If she wanted to put herself somehow in that situation, what she would have to do is stay with the cheating husband to be able to put herself in that situation. And she posted that she found out that was not his only affair, which is why I was like, how does he know that if I try this, no one's gonna get pregnant? Yeah, that was not his only affair that he had. But if she wanted to stay in the kid's life, she would have to stay with her cheating husband, and she would have to deal with the surrogate, only like having 50% right. Like they will both be his mom and then moms, and she would just be there and still be her family's breadwinner. And I feel like it's going to be emotional torture for her to do that situation, but she just has to accept like, oh, she's gone through all of this hell and she's lost this amount of money, which is like very painful. And so many comments have said she should do therapy to like help her, which makes absolute sense. But I could not imagine any human having to go through all of this. So if you will, leave like nice sweet comments for this person in the comment section, and hopefully I hope one day she gets to see your nice words left to her. But this is absolute hell and no one should ever have to live through such a thing. But what do you guys think? What would you do in this situation? Because from the way I say it, if she doesn't leave now, she's going to stay there and have her heart broken. It's a huge loss to accept. All of the emotions that she had put into the process. I know IVF is like a very emotional process and it's also very expensive. And to leave the end of, like, to come out from it with like, oh, well, no husband because you've been betrayed and such hurt and no kid, and then lost all of this time, lost all of this money. She still has her ovaries and she could actually meet a really, really wonderful person in the future. And this one would just be like a very distant past. So she still has her eggs that are frozen. So I think that there is a bright future ahead for her. But let me know your thoughts in the comment. What would you do if you were in this situation? And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.